Because I'll tell you the truth, man. Personally, I feel like of all the things that I've tried that were weird and random, there is a small few that actually were worthwhile. And I waste a lot of money and a lot of time, and I put a lot of things into my system that I could have avoided, I think. I've got one more question for you here, like my little warm up questions. I know we're more than warmed up at this point.
Sure.
But you did talk about experimenting, and you said if you went back, you'd probably not have done some of the weird combos that you had tried. I know that, you are still experimenting today. There's new peptides coming out. It seems like every few months there's something new that just, it lights on fire. Everybody's excited about it. And it's kind of like when we were kids and they introduced creatine. And everybody gets really excited. This is going to be a game changer. You are gaining 10 pounds of lean muscle, if you load creatine and run this for 10 weeks or whatever. And then later we find out that this wasn't what it was cracked up to be. And something I see a lot of times on YouTube especially, and I get it. It's newer guys that are looking for the best answers, and they're looking for something new. And a lot of times something new sounds promising because what if this is the compound that I needed all along? Yes. To get to, be big Rami size. How do you weed through, personally, how do you weed through what seems viable to give a try and some of the things? Because I'll tell you the truth, man, personally, I feel like of all the things that I've tried that were weird and random, there is a small few that actually were worthwhile. And I waste a lot of money and a lot of time, and I put a lot of things into my system that I could have avoided, I think.
No, I think so. But like for us as bodybuilders, we're always trying to look for something to improve, no matter how small the benefit is.
Yeah.
And sometimes you try something and it doesn't really work. And then sometimes you find something unique that nobody else has tried. And then you're like, yes, jackpot. And now this is my knowledge. Right. Okay. And I actively try to share that. So, but I've experimented with the pro hormones and the SARMs and everything in between. Now, from the pro hormones, what do we still use? Superdrol.
True.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Right. And the SARMs, anything that we use now or that the bodybuilders use, right? There's still plenty of kids that use SARMs, but SARMs are like a gateway to steroids now.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Right. It's like a gateway drug to real performance enhancing drugs. So all the stuff that fall into the SARM category are not SARMs. GW1516, SR9009, and even the MK677 has some practical application, although the insulin resistance is a bit of an issue with continuous use. But what and the peptide scene, man, I mean, GHK copper has some promise. I'm using that. I've
heard of a few people getting something out of that. What do you like about it?
So initially I wanted to see if I could remove gray hairs.
Okay.
It's one of these anti-aging drugs, and then you look at all the benefits, and there's a slew of benefits which are highly aimed towards older guys.
Okay.
It increases libido, and it lowers inflammation, and it is anti-cancer, and removes gray hairs, tightens the skin, and this and this and this and this. They really start to look into it, and it basically improves collagen synthesis, to put it simply. So I'm like, okay, let's give this a try, right? And now I have access to it. Let's give it a try. Let's run it for 6 months to see if I can remove some gray hair, tighten the skin, and get some collagen synthesis benefit out of it. So I started injecting 1 milligram, 2 milligram, 5 milligrams of this GHK copper subcutaneously. And I noticed that my skin was getting thicker, which indicates collagen synthesis. It's not inflammation. There's no redness. Right? It's just pure collagen synthesis within the dermis of the skin.
Let me ask
you
a
question. I was losing a little bit.
Was that systemically everywhere your skin was getting thicker, or locally around the shot?
Locally at the site of the injection.
I've heard that.
I'm a bit lazy, so I just do it in my upper quads. I just sit down in the morning, just upper quad, boom, done, subcutaneousally. And then where's my definition? I don't see the separation in my legs. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can do some collagen synthesis intramuscularly. So I injected it in my shoulder where I started ramping up the training intensity in anticipation of the cycle.
Yeah, yeah.
So I started putting it in my shoulder every day, 5 milligrams. And then within 3 days, the injury was a lot better.
You're kidding
I'm like,
me.
It's like TB500 or BPC 157. But TB500 and BPC 157 has a limited use duration, right? Maybe 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks until the injury is healed.
Yeah.
But GHK copper is bioidentical. Your body produces this. So that, right, from all the data that I've read, it's something you can run quite a long time.
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of spiking body parts, and maybe maybe we can use this for side enhancement.
Interesting, man. I'm wondering if I could use that to like help my shoulders. My shoulders, believe it or not, are not getting healthier as I age and as I continue to push heavy weight over my head. I don't know why, but it seems to be.
I thought that Skip already gave up on the overhead stuff. He's like, no, only laterals.
I think he did say that. I did an experiment for a while, man, where I stopped training shoulders altogether. And I was one of those guys that always had really round shoulders, but not enough chest. And my shoulders didn't change for like an entire year. Like they got no smaller. Although I didn't get those nice ego lifts because at one point, like I'd get in there and push the 130s over my head and feel like I was doing something special.
Right. Well, it's for us, it's special. I mean, if you stand next to Nick Walker, he does the 170s.
Yeah.
But those guys are spaced far and few between, luckily, and they're not at my home gym, so I'm still the strongest in my home gym.
Yeah, we've got we've got some people watching. We've got a bunch of people watching, and
I hope it's not too early.
Yeah, well, it's like it is early here. It's late there. What time is it in Thailand right now?
It is 8:30.
8:30
in the evening. Yeah.
Okay, so 9:30 in the morning here, 8:30 in the evening there. Just trying to get a grasp on where we're at here. Grace did chime in, and she was wondering about the copper peptide. She says, how much of the GHK copper would 140-pound female use? Can you explain to us how you would dose this? Because I'm intrigued myself. I haven't used it. I have a friend who's using it for some heart issues, actually. And I know that of some other people that are doing some experiments, I should say.
Right. So it kind of depends on what you want. Like in the anti-aging community, it's generally accepted to run between 2 to 5 milligrams of GHK copper.
Okay.
You got to remember that you're injecting copper directly.
Yeah.
So there is a thing as copper toxicity, or where you get too much copper and it displaces the zinc.
Right.
So I already did the calculation. You'd need 32 milligrams of GHK copper to reach copper toxicity on top of the copper that you get from your diet. So most people will never reach that.
Okay.
For risk assessment purposes. But like what you can start low, 1 milligram per day, run it for a week, and then 2 milligrams maybe, and then maybe 5 milligrams per day. I've ran 10 milligrams per day, but I think for a girl that's not really necessary. My wife hasn't started it because the post-injection pain is legendary.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, this is not comfortable. So I injected it in my shoulder here to resolve the injury, right?
Yeah.
You can't even raise your arm. It's like injecting Winstrol, and it lasts only for a few hours, but it's a mineral. It's a trace mineral that you're injecting. So it's the same with these injectable vitamins sometimes, like glutathione injections, for example. That's not pleasant either. So if the girl is thinking about using it, subcutaneous first, before you start spiking the delts for the bikini competition. Because now you do feel it. I tried to administer it in the teardrops after a leg day.
Yeah.
And then going up the stairs is not pleasant.
You do make a good point about the fact of throwing things out of balance. I've even seen that, like the women who use the copper IUD. I mean, you literally have.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, you have copper in your body, so that's something you got to pay attention to. Is throwing off zinc, and that could throw off a lot of things. So, are you supplementing with zinc, anything like that, to try to keep it
always?
Okay,
always. Yeah, year round. Yeah, year round. So during the post-cycle therapy, you supplement with zinc a little bit more because you're trying to restore HPTA and increase testosterone production. And I usually run like 25 milligrams of zinc picolinate year round. Okay. The zinc is used in so many biological processes. And when you take steroids, you increase gene transcription, right? The DNA gets read, and then transcribed into RNA, big words, I know. But basically, the steroid is reading the DNA and makes machines which pump out protein, to put it lightly, simply. And zinc is used, and selenium is used, and a couple other micronutrients are used. So when you speed up that process, and you don't supplement with zinc or have adequate selenium from your diet, then you just create a micronutrient deficiency for yourself. So I always make sure that I have a little bit of zinc, and then now especially with the copper, GHK copper, I make sure that it's nicely balanced.